What would you do if the wisest and richest man in the world gave you business principles on how to make more money? And we can see that they are true by observing his lifestyle and his writings. I'm going to share with you 5 business principles that we can see throughout the writings and life of King Solomon that will help you grow your business and your life. Our first principle is located in 1 Kings 4 and 5. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon and the house that he had built, the food of his table, the seating of his officials, and the attendance of his servants, their clothing, his cupbearers, and all his burnt offerings that he had offered at the house of the Lord, there was no more breath in her. How many of you know that the queen of Sheba was breathless? Have you ever seen something that was so awesome or so cool that it just left you breathless? Just imagine, she was a queen of Egypt. Egypt was one of the most powerful kingdoms of that day. And when she saw Solomon and how his whole kingdom and his whole household was run, she was breathless. She couldn't comprehend what she was seeing, and she was a queen. That means that the excellence that Solomon operated with through God just blew her out of the water. And when we operate with excellence, we will attract other kings and queens. And we can also see that people are watching. When you operate with excellence, people are always watching you, and they will be breathless by the excellence that you operate in. Our second principle is located in 1 Kings 10:25. And the whole earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put into his mind. Every one of them brought a present, articles of silver and gold, garments, myrrh, spices, horses, and mules, and so much year by year. You see, people paid to hear Solomon speak. When you're a good speaker and you have things to say, people will pay and seek you out to hear what you have to say. Success comes with intention, and failure comes with neglect. If you want a better experience at life, you need to get better at communicating. Solomon had kings from all around the known world travel and come to seek him out. And remember, this was back then in ancient times. They didn't have airplanes, they didn't have cars, private jets, or anything. These expeditions to come hear Solomon speak took months and months. His reputation of his ability to speak reached so far and wide that it drew in crowds. Solomon's wealth and success grew because his ability to articulate communication. And that ability came from God after he blessed him with incredible wisdom. That blessing of wisdom was not just for Solomon. In Proverbs, it talks about that you need to ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We can ask God for the same wisdom that he blessed Solomon with, and it will be imparted unto us, and we can operate the exact same way. If you are neglecting, we'll be like the man that Solomon talked about in Proverbs, who was the lazy man who neglected to sow and harvest his crops, and then he was hungry and eventually became starving. And neglecting in that way doesn't just mean food and crops. It also means neglecting business strategy. Maybe God put something on your heart to do to better his kingdom. He might give you a business idea that will help you make more money. And if you neglect that, then you will not be able to harvest what God has given you. Our third business principle from Solomon was that Solomon was an affiliate. Did you guys know that? In 1 Kings 10:27, the king made silver in Jerusalem as common as stones, and he made cedars as abundant as the sycamore trees. Solomon's horses had been brought from Egypt and from Kiva, with the king's agents having bought them from the dealers and gave out the going price. A chariot from Egypt cost 15 pounds of silver, and a horse 3¾ pounds. All the kings of the Hittim and the kings of Aram purchased them at these prices through Solomon's agents. Solomon also got rich and made money from being an affiliate. He was selling other people's stuff. Right here in verse 29, it says, a chariot from Egypt, and then it lists how much they cost. And then later on in the verse, it says that these kings purchased them through Solomon's agents. Solomon got paid for selling other people's stuff. So if there's something that you really like and there's an affiliate program for it, we can see by Solomon that it's wise to be an affiliate and make money by selling something that you need and that you like. Solomon charged a consulting fee when any king or anyone came and wanted to hear him speak. In 1 Kings 10:10, we read that this is talking about the Queen of Sheba who came to hear Solomon speak. Then she gave the king 4 tons of gold, a huge amount of spices, and precious stones. Never again did there arrive such an abundance of spices at those the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. The Queen of Sheba came to Solomon to hear him speak, and she paid him for it. Solomon did not speak just for free. He knew that it was his business, and there was a way for him to gain wealth from it. So he charged for people to come and hear him speak and hear his wisdom. That's another way that we can gain wealth, by charging. It's not unbiblical to charge people for a service that you're doing, that you're providing them, and when you're providing value. You only charge, though, if whatever you're giving them is worth more than the money they're giving you. Our 5th business principle is in 1 Kings 9:22. We're going to finally be getting out of 1 Kings 10. But Solomon did not raise any of his forced labor from the people of Israel. Rather, they were soldiers, his servants, administrators, and commanders, and officials in charge of his chariots and horsemen. Solomon did not use his own people for labor. He knew that if he delegated the people in his kingdom, or in this sense, we'll say his people in his business, he would have more reign, and he'll be able to delegate all these problems and priorities on his other people. So then they could in turn work for him and grow his kingdom. Because Solomon knew that he couldn't do everything by himself. If you do everything by yourself, you're going to burn out and fail, and you aren't good at everything. If you try to do everything by yourself, you're going to be running yourself dry. If you try to do everything by yourself, you'll be good at nothing. But if you leverage and use other people's skills, because there's always someone better, the old saying that there's always someone better at something than you are. If you use those people's skills and don't just bury them and have them doing something else, it can help you grow and make money in your business or in your life. Because if you're running a business and you like mowing your lawn, but it's taking a lot of time, you can leverage someone else's time and you can pay someone to mow your lawn, so you aren't taking your time out of your life to not run your business or be with your family. Solomon was a great example of how to run a business, generate wealth, and his wisdom was just purely immaculate. I hope that these 5 business principles blessed you and that you're going to be able to apply them into your business and in your life. In the meantime, stay blessed and put the wisdom of Solomon into work.